a soldier who carries a mighty sword. He will tear your city down. Olay, olay, O Lord. Olay, 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 O Lord. He will tear your city down. Olay.
I'm kind of freaking out right now because I found a dead body in my trunk today, which is really weird because I distinctly remember putting 2 in there yesterday.
Okay, so I know, like, it's a Wiccan belief to think, like, do no harm, think no harm, whatever. And I just want to say I am not a Wiccan. I am a self-practicing solitary green witch. But I really like that idea of, like, not hurting anybody and not causing or wishing harm on anybody. But at the same time, there are times when I want to fuck a bitch up, you know? So I saw this post that was, like, passive-aggressive ways to, like, not curse somebody, but, like, curse somebody. And I thought I'd share. You can bless everybody around them, but not them. You can put a glimmer on yourself and make you really attractive to them, and then they'll want to date you, and then you can just be like, LOL, no. Or you can ask your deity for help, like, smiting them, but, like, not smiting them, you know?
I will follow you home, although my lips are blue and I'm cold. I don't want to be your friend, I want to kiss your lips.
Card number 1, you got 3 Pentacles, which is a really good card if you're in a group project or you ask for help. Card 2, 3 of Wands, really good especially if it's social studies or history. Card 3, 6 of Wands, you'll get a good grade if you study, but a bad one if you don't.
Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to 3. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure.
I don't know why it's black. I was hexed. Oof. Well, that's why we make these. To break hexes and bring protection. Like condoms.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
Hey, yo!
Summertime, and the living's easy. Rallies on the microphone with Ross and G. All the people in the dance will agree that we're well qualified to.
Runes for $3. Vase beads. You're going to want the ones with the round top, but the flat bottom. I'm not going to get too much into the different types of runic alphabets, but this is the one I use. With the flat tops up, you're going to want to transfer over the runes with a Sharpie. And I flip my image so it looks like that when I flip it over. And wait for them to dry. And I usually do a second coat with a Sharpie and wait for that to dry. And to seal it all in, coat of clear nail polish. I just keep mine in a terracotta pot. They're just really good for practice and starting out. So, yeah.
Hello, all you witches and pagans. So today we're going to start learning about the runes. And this is my set of runes. Runes are an alphabet system that's also used for divination and magic craft. Comes out of the Norse and Germanic lands. The earliest known runic writings are from the 1st century AD. However, the largest collection of rune writings come from the 11th century AD. Throughout time and geographical location, the runes have undergone several transformations. Today, the known runic systems include the Elder Futhark, the Gothic runes, the Anglo-Saxon Futhark, or the Younger Futhark, which is divided into Danish, Swedish, and Norwegian versions. The most common ones you're going to come across, though, is the Elderfruthark, and that's what you're seeing here, comprised of 24 runes and 1 blank rune. This is an excellent book to get you started.
So now that you've learned the basics of tarot decks, you're going to want to start learning the meanings. So what you can do to do that is to pick a card a day. And the easiest way to do this is to read up on the card and then break it down into 3 phrases for upright and 3 for reversed. So for upright, for the full card, I would use words like innocence, new beginnings, and free spirit. But then if I were to reverse it, then more words would be like recklessness, inconsideration, or being taken advantage of. Now keep in mind, just because a card is reversed does not necessarily mean that the upright word is reversed. It's kind of slightly different, but there might be some similarities, so you really want to read up before you pick your words. To find the meanings, usually if you look in your deck when you first get it, there's either a booklet or a book with the meanings, but there's also a lot of resources online like these. You can also just go to Google and look for a cheat sheet for the cards, but I would only do that after learning the meanings of each. First thing to start a sigil is to think of your phrase or what it's going to be based on. You're going to want to write that without using words like will. You're going to want to use words like you've already done it. Write it down again and cross out letters that you used more than once, and then write the letters that you're left with. Begin drawing your shape using the letters. So first I like to start with my I. Then maybe we'll go with the P, just go off of here. Then the A, maybe get a triangle in there. Then the D. And maybe we'll hide the H up here. Step 4, clean the symbol up. Then finally, to use it, find something that's safe for your skin and transfer it over to your skin or a piece of paper. If you're going to use this one for a test, I suggest not putting it on your arm because your professor might think you're cheating. A lot of people ask, should you use tarot cards or should you use oracle cards? And my opinion on that matter is you should use runes. My opinion aside, let's use tarot cards as our first example. Now, tarot cards are going to be very rigid. They're all going to have the same meanings. They're all going to have the basic major and minor arcana. The only thing different about them is going to be your style. Like this one is Game of Thrones inspired, but the most common one you'll probably see is the Rider Tarot deck, which is considered the most standard one. But like I said, all the cards are the same. If you learn one, you can use any tarot deck. Oracle cards, on the other hand, are not standard. They can have different numbers of cards, different meanings. This one only has 50 cards and has no reverse meanings. So if you learn tarot first and you want to apply that to these oracle cards, that will not work. You'll have to learn your own unique and standard one for this deck. Now I suggest runes because there are 25 of them in Elderfruthark, which is easier to remember, and there's not as many reversed, and it's pretty standard, but whatever works for you. Making runes on a budget, part 2. So now that you've got the surface, whether it be sticks or the discs, you're going to lay them out. You're going to need about 25 of them, so I have them out here in rows of 5. And you're going to kind of want them to be about equal size, so you don't pick one over the other. I left out the bigger ones in the bag. Now step 2 is actually just putting the runes on them, and that's kind of the final step and what it all comes down to. So there's 2 ways to do that, and I'll show you both. One option is to draw them on with a Sharpie, which is really cost effective. You probably have one in your house. Or you can do what I did and wood burn them in, but not everyone has access to a wood burner. Most shop or art teachers have one, but if you don't, Sharpie always works fine. It looks good, just does the work just about as well. And here's the final look at your runes. Hope you enjoyed them.
It's time for another episode of Witch on a Budget. Today we're going to talk about scrying because while it might take a lot of practice to do, it can be done with items that are very easy to acquire. So scrying means to stare into a certain medium and detect messages and visions from it. One of the first images that many people might think about when you think about scrying would be the fortune teller with her big crystal ball. And yes, crystal scrying is a very popular method of scrying. If you can't afford the big crystal ball, just get another one of the crystals you have on hand. As long as they're not opaque, they should work. The method is fire scrying. If you can't build a big bonfire, then just get some candles. Just make sure the flame's big enough that you can see an image with it. Third method is water scrying. You can use a pond or a lake. Otherwise, you can just use a bowl. Dark bowls work best. Otherwise, add some dark food coloring to the water to make it easier.
I'm in my car, and it is boiling hot outside, but I think it's time for a witch tip. If, for whatever reason, you can't have a garden or can't dry your own herbs, a lot of grocery stores actually have them for very cheap. Whole bag of lavender flowers for 11 cents. Rosemary leaves for $1.08. A bag of stinging nettle, 66 cents. I splurged and got 2 things of rose hip, 40 cents. And the most expensive thing that I got, a bag of cloves for $5. All of this cost me $7.32, and that's mostly the cloves.